Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American politics, and we're specifically going to talk about the best read on an evangelical Christian community today that I have ever seen as far as understanding what is happening with modern evangelical Christians. So, Jonathan Rauch said something incredible. He went on Slate Political Gabfest, and he was promoting his new book, Cross Purposes, and his point is that evangelical Christians are not being true to their beliefs by supporting Donald Trump, right? Fascinating, but none of that is new. Like liberals saying, "Oh, you guys are being hypocrites." Christians being called hypocrites is nothing new. We get it constantly, right? And the problem is people just literally don't understand us. And one of the reasons why is they don't really see us. They evangelical Christianity is massively misunderstood. So what do most Americans think Christianity is? Oh, you did 51% of the things right in your life, and when you stand before the judgment throne, Jesus is going to be like, "Hey, God the Father is going to be like, "Hey, 51% done right. You're good, buddy. Get on in there." Right? And no, that is not. If you have one sin, you're done. Right? You're cooked. Literally cooked. You're going to the hot place, right? One sin, and trust and believe you got one sin, right? Like, um, what's gonna happen is, hey, I see you got one sin there, off to the hot place, and then you step in and go, oh, no, 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 you sent your son Jesus Christ to die on the cross. I accepted the salvation he extended to me, and guess what? Check out this white robe, right? Yeah, the blood of my sin is now covered by, my sin is now covered by the perfect purity of Jesus Christ, who paid for my sins, right? So that's the part he doesn't understand. But what's really fascinating is the reason why we're talking today is Jonathan Rauch captured it. He said the evangelical community today, with what's going on with, um, uh, they're abandoning Jesus for MAGA, right? But the best way he described it was they're abandoning a gospel of love for a gospel of power, and this is absolutely true, right? And I feel seen. I feel seen, and that's incredible, right? Because that's exactly the Faustian bargain we made. Yeah, I'm one of these. I did not do it the first time. I was not gonna. I voted for Andrew Yang in 2020. I voted for a write-in. I did not vote for Trump the first time. I'm like, I'm an evangelical Christian. You're not gonna get me to vote for a guy who's got three wives and made his money in casinos. Are you kidding me? Right? But I came around for 2020. Well, like, I came around for 2024. For 2024. And the reason why was there was no way I was going to live through another 4 years of rising crime, rising war, and rising inflation. Just couldn't do it. Like, I had lost too much. Right? Wait a second, Scott. Aren't you supposed to get up on that cross and do more sacrifice just like Jesus? Yes, yes. That's correct. Right? Now, so why aren't you doing that? Because Jesus forgives sin. Right? And he loves us, and sometimes we can't endure more pain. And you think we're going to get written off by Jesus for accepting MAGA as a sin, but the reality is Jesus died for sin. He loves us, right? And he understands that the last 4 years were so brutal, right? That he doesn't forgive it. He doesn't write it away, but we are protected. Like, if I sin, I don't have to worry about going to hell. And that's why me and a lot of evangelicals, I do believe voting for Trump was a sin, right? Now, you couldn't vote for Biden either. That would have been an equal sin. But we could have done a write-in, right? We could have wrote in, the head of the, Baptist seminary or whatever, right? Like, or some, some upstanding, uh, you know, Tim Keller, whoever you want to pick, right? All right. So, some upstanding evangelical Christian, right? But the reality is, one, no, we didn't want to throw away our votes. But what's really fascinating is Jonathan Ralph, this is how he identified himself. Like, he wanted to tell me, he was like, I wrote a book about evangelical Christians, but I want to tell you who I am. And on the interview, he said, I'm a gay atheist Jew, right? Like, so it's really fascinating to me that this gay atheist Jew saw us more clear than anyone, right? So what's really incredible is we reach this point where he is seeing this transaction that's happening, right? And so, and I think what's really fascinating is just how he arrived here and how he is viewing evangelical Christians, right? And so one of the things I think is interesting is like he's like, hey, you guys, how could you possibly do this? You're betraying your values. Now this gets very complicated, right? Because on the one hand, there's no question supporting, a guy who has 3 wives, clearly doesn't care anything about his family or any of it. Clearly doesn't care about any of his family or any of his children, right? Because he's like, oh well, I can just throw, well, I got a wife now and some kids now, but who cares? I can throw away this wife, get another wife, and get a bunch of new kids, right? Like, and that's he's literally done it 3 times over, right? Like that's his pattern. That's not a Christian's pattern for anything, right? And so, and then made all this money and continues to lie constantly, right? Like just doing what he told everybody he did in Art of the Deal, right? So why are Christians okay with this? Well, one of the things too is many Christians believe that if you take it all in, if you understand what Trump's doing, there's actually Christian good in it. So where is the Christian good? Oh boy, judges. Let's talk about judges, man. So there's no question. Trump is an evil man, right? That evangelical Christians have fully embraced. Why would we do that? Because we got some incredibly holy things out of it, right? Like, so first of all, what did we get? Dude, like, we rolled back Roe v. Wade. Are you kidding me? In like half the states, right? So what does that mean? Well, first of all, if you don't know, 60 million children have been killed under Roe v. Wade since 1974, right? Since 1973, excuse me, 1973. So, and basically under Trump, we were able to like roll that back in like half the states. That could be like, so if 60 million kids, where every Christian is saying, oh, okay, well, I'm going to save 15, 30, 45 million kids because of these new judges. And so that, right, he's right. We're trading a gospel of love for a gospel of power. But that gospel of power, the idea that it's not bringing good is wrong. And that's the part you're never going to hear from Jonathan Rauch, right? That voting for Donald Trump is going to save 15, 30, 45 million children from murder, right? That you're never going to hear that from a gay, atheist Jew, right? Like, but that's part of the calculus, right? And he's not doing that math. And I think that's wrong in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.